start the second half. Collingwood by 3 points. Great shot at ANZ Stadium here. Kennedy in the middle gets the first extraction, although Blair made him earn it a second time. Goods can find a little more here as well. Matner skies one high. Almost stamped Kennedy there. Now Roberts Thompson, an unlikely hero up forward, but he's shaping as that. Mike Pike did well to kick the ball while lying on the ground. Around the body, Kennedy had to be strong. Sinclair was good as well. Here's Jeddah. Goods. Hold under it nicely. Left foot around the corner. Didn't get enough of it.
Yeah. Adam Goods may have had the opportunity to handball that one off instead of having a snap on his left foot. Easy to say from up here. The pressure on the players down there is enormous, but he did have a teammate to his left then.
So you're saying he should have handballed off?
Yeah, I am. I'm saying it in a roundabout way.
Just say it if you can.
All right. Sorry about that, BT. You're the boss.
You sitting on the perimeter piping there. Here is Beams over the line, out of bounds.
It is a lot easier, the game up here, though, isn't it? Like,
well, I know you're the most likeable man in Australia, but sometimes you've just got to call it as it is, Richo.
He's reeling for a big Avant marriage, taking the title down there at Tigerland, Richo. Hey, I just can't stop watching Josh Kennedy's work around the contest here. The number one clearance player in the game. Keep an eye on how good he is going in the second half.
Great handball from Didak, sets this one up as Dawes and Richards go inside 50. Teddy Richards, marvellous job against the bigger Dawes, and Sydney out of trouble momentarily here with Jack. Decides he wants to switch the play and finds Johnson.
It was a good switch because Shaw can play on now, and they may be able to go the full length here.
Triple run, quadruple bounce there from Shaw, working the ball up to half forward, and that's over the boundary line. Got to be by a metre. No whistle. Dennis Lane allowed to go. Sinclair was there as well. Boy, I reckon that was out by a fair way. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Bit of byplay back there on the Shepherd. It was Alex Johnson who applied a Shepherd here on Chris Dawes. Look, Chris Dawes pulls his mouth guard out and throws it back at the head of Alex Johnson. He was so annoyed at the contact.
And then he got interchanged, Chris Dawes. His mouth guard was still out there. One of the trainers had to go and pick it up.
So just didn't have enough time to get all of that replay in there, as Jolly has the ball at halfback. Didn't want to miss the live action. Here's for Solo at halfback.
Got them locked right in here, the Sydney Swans. It'll be hard to get out of this one.
For Solo goes to a 3-on-1 really there. Never in that, the Pies.
He didn't have any other option other than to go long, but you just need to try and force it to ground in that situation.
Or at least put it to the side where Travis Cloke can complete. Cloke also has to stand and deliver a bit. He was trying to lead up and get it with some movement. Needed to bring that one to ground.
Gee, every time you see Kennedy play, as you mentioned, you just wonder how, I mean, I know it was early and it suited Sydney, but how, even with the pedigree, they could let him go, but he's turned into a fantastic player. Richards.
I guess there was a fair competition for spots in that Hawthorn midfield at the time.
Absolutely. But if you can come up here and win a best and fairest, you can probably get a game in any side. Mumford. Jeddah. Jeddah from directly in front, around the body. Good ball. Got it deep. Roberts Thompson couldn't quite make it work, but very nearly did.
It's called hindsight, BT.
Just got to love that about Darren Jolly there on the line. He's had his ribs caved in tonight. You can see the pain he's in, grimacing, but he just always commits his body. Saved a goal there, was out of position. Brilliant play.
Yeah, it is hindsight, Richo. We do a lot of predicting as well, though. There's Roberts Thompson.
Big mummy there, searching for a free kick. Thought he caught one high contact. Nothing doing.
Marty Clark there. I reckon his game's right on the edge at the moment about whether he retains his position. Just depends who they've got available. So he needs to have a big second half here for Solo. Maxwell sprayed that one. This will give a chance to Johnson, I think.
Look, he didn't have an option there, Max. He just had to get it onto his boot quickly. Unfortunately, the side of his boot. But this, the forward press of Sydney, just has them locked right in here.
Just repeating the news if you just joined us. Dale Thomas subbed out of the game in the second quarter. Didak, the sub, came on to replace him. Johnson's kick into the square. And a diving mark forward has been taken. It looks like big Mike Pike. Oh, boy. Wowee. Mike Pike.
What an athletic, smart bit of play from the big Canadian.
He tripped over.
Who read it better than anyone else, Bristol. Time you apologised, he'll go back and slot this.
Oh, Mike Pike, I do apologise. That is very nice play from the big boy.
Disciplined play by the Sydney Swans. Low percentage kick to have a shot from the boundary line out there, and it was put to the top of the goal square, and big Mike Pike fell into a chest mark. You don't often fall into a chest mark in the goal square. It's just a great kick to the top of the square, and the big Canadian just put a goal through.
So 3-point Sydney lead.
Pretty big call to describe this man as the worst player ever for you, Brian. Given there's been more than 12,100 AFL players.
I don't think I said
He is a great story sometimes in life. You've just got to say sorry, Brian.
I think I said he was struggling.
The worst ever, quote unquote. Great stuff from Mike Pike.
Nice goal. Sydney now by 3 points here. Collingwood have virtually not had the ball at their end at all this quarter.
If we're going to be serious, though, that just shows you what the Sydney Swans, they just get players up here and develop them. They've been doing it for years, and they've done it with Mike Pike. He's had a really solid year supporting Mummy in the ruck and going forward. Doing his job beautifully, BT.
Oh, yes. Big Mike Pike. I guess he had to come good after a few years in the elite system.
Good shot of the one-on-ones all over the ground here. You can see Nick Maxwell always, who's at the bottom of your screen there. He's got his man LRT, but he's always looking at how can I get back and help out? How can I zone off and take an uncontested mark? But genuine one-on-ones everywhere on this ground.
Got to say, it's an incredibly ugly game despite the fact that it is one-on-one football, which is something we all like to see.
But as Lingy said before, it's more like a finals type intensity, Lingy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, come finals times, that it is going to be that one-on-one footy. There's going to be no easy ball out there. And as I said, it's great practice. You can't get this sort of intensity at training, so you may as well do it tonight.
Rottingham, I thought he had the pants of Matner there. No free awarded. Eventually they get one and that's out of bounds on the full. Jetta. Lewis Jetta will get the free at half back. No sign of rain here in this quarter. Just yet, Mike Pike flies off hands O'Keefe. Handball wide, McVeigh. Beat O'Brien with a ripping handball to Kennedy. Kenny nurses the ball around the corner looking for Roberts Thompson, and Maxwell happy to see him and the ball over the line.
Yeah, Roberts Thompson had a good one-on-one with Nick Maxwell there, 15 metres out, and Kennedy, his left foot, just couldn't get it quite to the one-on-one. He had a height advantage there. He might have been able to mark that ball with a better kick. Came his way.
O'Keefe. Centering ball, play on, not the required journey. And out of bounds on the full, the umpire is saying here.
Down the full.
Out the full. That was a punch off his hands. I'm not sure that that decision is correct.
Hold here. Wait there. Wait for the call.
If it is, it was deflected, but big call. O'Keefe
doesn't suit O'Keefe quite as much here.
Plays on, kicks around the body and does it magnificently and professionally for Sydney.
I look forward to having a look at this one again, because Scotty Pendlebury, he was absolutely spewing about that decision. Couldn't believe it had been called out of bounds, and I reckon that's a half a wry smile there from Ryan O'Keefe as he jogs back into the centre. That's what the Magpie fans think about it.
Sydney consecutive goals now. Let's have a look at this. Ball was knocked down. Can someone tell me how that's out of bounds on the full?
Well, unless he
a metre in.
Unless he toe poked it, I'm not sure. But
it bounced off the ground and no one touched it. That's just a shocker.
We're all confused. I think the Collingwood players...
I don't think there's any confusion. The umpires just had a howler.
Got it wrong. Side bottom. Out of the middle. Consecutive goals for Sydney. sparks the Pies here. Elliott to Didak. Didak, degree of difficulty around the body was high. In there is Matner to centre half forward for a rare opportunity in this quarter for the Pies. Look at this. Magnificent work from Johnson. The soccer off the ground. Maxwell, centre half back to Didak. Didak hurried handball into Pendlebury. Pendlebury now goes to Cloak in the one-on-one. Cloak did well, couldn't quite hang on to it though. Here's Grundy, worried out of it by Blair. Little handball to Wellingham, able to straighten. Listen the angle, the responding goal for the Pies. Sherrod Wellingham.
Good response by the Pies, and Sherrod Wellingham is having one of his better games for the season. It's been really lively tonight, 19 disposals, and yeah, nice feed out there by Travis Cloak. Good second effort, well done Wellingham, good finish. I thought he was going to kick the drop punt, had pressure, came inboard and snapped it around his body. Having a good night, Sherrod.
Very clean player, isn't he? Really does it without fuss, and nicely done by Wellingham. Sydney now go back into attack, trying to steal one back. Now Harry O'Brien, did he take him on? Umpire said ball was pinned if he did.
Let's have another look here. Does he get a toe poke on this ball? It may have clipped his boot. It may have clipped it, BT.
Oh, gee, that's a tough one, but inconclusive, so we'll give the benefit of the doubt. Richo, you're obviously angling for that way, and not sure whether you realise your career's over and you don't need Brownlow votes anymore. As Elliott tries to take it over the line. Kennedy there, just keeping it alive. Seedsman ran out with it. Now that's out of bounds. And we'll throw it in.
Last goal was via Sherrod Wellingham. Dane Boom's getting involved. As we look at the Sydney fans, and that is really important for them. Just on the back of Dale Thomas being substituted out, they really need those second-tier players really to step up.
Hanbury had to go. Reid didn't want it to bounce. Dropped the mark. Maxwell hovering. Umpire says stuck in there. And he said Scott Jeffrey, he was trying to get it out. Fair enough. Maxwell barking instructions to his teammates there. Pike trying to move. Jolly under the ball, off the hands. Goods around the corner in typical Goods fashion. Unbelievable Adam Goods goal.
That's why he's a superstar of the game, Adam Goods. He's had a really quiet night tonight. He's looked out of sorts.
Let's just have a look at this stoppage here, and there's Ben Reid behind Adam Goods. Just lost touch on him, and when you're as good as Adam Goods, you must keep touch on him at all times around a stoppage.
Just a half a second loss of concentration by Reid, who's normally really good at it, and that was enough.
Seedsman with the clearance. Here's Dawes. He ran straight past it, but Richards did not. Elliott's little kick over the line out of bounds. Let's go down to Doc Larkins.
Yeah, Sherrod Wellingham just sitting on the bench. Brian just having some treatment. He got a knock just on the outside of his knee, and he limped through. They've just had a big check of him. It's surely just probably a bit of a cork again for another Pies cork.
So that's 4 players that have had some sort of medical issue for Collingwood in this game. Not wanting to find reasons for them, because Wellingham will come back on.
Shows you the concentration levels required to play AFL footy. When you're playing on someone like Adam Goods, you lapse for half a second and he does something like that.
Beans trying to back out with the ball, eventually got it out. Tuvey with a nice tip and shoulder. Blair ran into the brick ball that is Bird.
Tuvey's come up with a cork here as well. You can see limping away. It's a hard contested game, this one. You put your head into one of those 50-50 contests and you're going to feel some pain.
Jolly knockdown for Solo. His caught. Now he makes the attempt. The umpire deems it legitimate.
Darcy mentioned the hard contested game. It's always the way. Whenever you played Sydney, no matter if you beat them by 100 points, whatever it was, you always walked off the ground very, very sore and had a lot of ice packs in the change rooms.
The way this has been played, Ling, are you confident it's going to be a goal or 2 in it at the end?
Absolutely. There's a good close struggle. And again, come back to the fact it's great practice for finals.
Absolutely. O'Keefe to Parker. Followed up his own work, O'Keefe. Got to stand under it, Kennedy. For Solo bearing down. Both made a real legitimate and courageous attempt to mark the ball. In the end, Kennedy won out. Parker going long to Jeddah.
Some slick hands there, Richo. It was amazing. I think Parker might have had the bit of the basketball throw around the back, but and got through some pressure there.
It was great hands, but it was great pressure too. You kept thinking one more handball and they're out, but Collingwood's pressure never allowed them to get that opportunity to get out into space, and it's the story of the night so far.
Keith having another really good night as well. Here's McVeigh, fast hands, Smith, Pendlebury worrying them. Mumford did well with the big body and presence. McVeigh skied one. Kennedy comes over the back. Great mark over the top of beams. Now, is he within his capabilities here?
Just outside, I think, BT.
Handballs off to Jetta. Jetta winds up from 55 off a step. Long ball into the square. Shaw of the Heath variety sees it through for a behind.
BT, you compare that kick there that Jetta just sent in right to the goal line. It's actually quite easy to defend. If you can knock it over the boundary line, Sydney might cause a turnover. Free kick.
So you'd rather have it 20 metres shorter?
Compare that to the Johnson kick that went into Mike Pike earlier on. Just that 10 or 20 metres off the kick allows the Sydney forwards to come at the ball, and it's a more dangerous kick into the forward line.
Lingy down there on the boundary. Here is Maxwell drawing handball to O'Brien. O'Brien at half-back needs to be precise. Dawes comes at it. Hands. Not all that good on that occasion. I reckon that sort of grab he should take.
Just got a tweet here from Daniel Turton. He goes, what do you make of Travis Cloke's performance so far tonight? Well, it is an extremely tough night for key forwards because of that pressure through the midfield. There's no clean ball coming inside 50. That ball then that just came to Travis bounced 3 metres in front of him. I think he's working hard, but it's a tough night out there for forwards. 1 goal, 4 touches for him. There he goes.
Here he is. Almost pinged here for incorrect disposal.
Look, it has been a tough night for forwards, but he's horribly out of form, Richo. There's no other way to say it. There's been opportunities one-on-one where when he's going well, he just finds a way to mark it. He finds a way to bring it to ground and get the ball himself front and centre. And we're keeping a close eye on him. He's just body language, his demeanour. He looks down. He looks like a player who doesn't feel as though he's going to play well.
Mumford got the run inside. Jack can go all the way. A bounce. Now steadies. Missed badly.
Gee, you're not going to get many opportunities like that tonight running into open goals. Kieran Jack, he normally nails those, but yeah, I think you got a good point, Darcy. Normally his work rate gets him those uncontested marks, but it's not a night where you're going to be able to get out and take uncontested marks, and in the past his contested markings kept him in it.
Cloke and Jolly both flying for the mark there. Had to get rid of it, Elliott. Somehow intercepted it, gave it to Wellingham, was always wrapped up by Malcheski. Ball going nowhere here. And no win there. Fantastic footy.
BT hit the nail right on the head there. This might not look pretty, but this is fantastic quality contested footy. I'm absolutely loving it down here. Both teams, you can see they're enjoying it. Type of players that love this kind of game.
Starting to rise, Lingy, with this style of footy.
Doesn't he get excited when it comes finals time?
The uglier it is, he just loves it, Lingy. He's all over it. Here's Kennedy. Mongrel inside. Maxwell will get there. Can he stop it going over? No, he can't.
Just wanted to quickly show you an example of where I reckon Travis Cloke. Now have a look, here he is in the top of your screen on the kick-in. Now he just tentatively goes after that. When he's up and running, he would have smashed that pack open. They would have split everywhere. He might have marked it. He just doesn't look as though he's got that same vigour about the contest.
I agree with that, and probably another example there where he would have backed back in firmly, and as a result, a sliding mark has been taken here by Bird.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit frustrated too. He knows he would have normally wrapped up that chest mark then. He had it in the right position. He normally would have taken that. And just when you're out of form, they don't stick.
This is very much in the sights of Bird here. From right on 50, distance not a problem. It boils down to accuracy. It's a goal. They've kicked 4 in the third quarter.
Again, it's very close like this one. A 3-goal break is a pretty handy break, and that's a good goal. But I love the work of Mike Pike on the goal line this occasion. He did a heap of work shepherding this ball through from Craig Bird, and Just a little bit of a clap for Mike Pike there again, BT's man. He had a significant part to play in that goal, shepherding on the goal line.
Biggest lead of the game as Bird goals here. Starting to rain again as well. 17-point lead it is with Sydney. Conditions worsening, but you just get the feeling another passing shower on offer here. Seedsman and Dennis Lane there. Jolly got it to Clark. One-on-ones everywhere you look. Melcheski desperate to win the loose ball. It was really well done. Through traffic, Bird, who kicked that last goal around the corner. So without Bolton or Sam Reid tonight, Sydney still look very capable. Pendlebury, handball to Turvey, put him under the pump. Clark, a little gimme kick out there, went wide, and Shaw with a bit of a prayer over the top. Couldn't keep it alive, Blair.
Hey, Lingy, Dane Beams, 20 disposals at half-time, but he's only had the 4 handballs this quarter. They've all been contested. He's just not finding any ball at the moment.
No, he's one who's suffering. There's just no space. He's been fantastic tonight, though. What I've liked is he's tried to step up in the absence of Dane Swan. We know how good a player Swan is. But Beams is trying to step up and lead this Collingwood midfield. It's probably a great test for him. If he can get Collingwood over the line with the statement that the Pies made during the week to suspend Swan, it would be a great step up for his leadership.
BT, you mentioned one-on-one contests everywhere, but it just feels like all the important one-on-ones are being won by Sydney at the moment.
Absolutely it does. Now that's a mark that's been paid to Cloak there.
That's a mark. Pay those.
Grundy saying he had a hand on it.
He's in front, he grabs it and lands with it.
I guess you pay those in that contest, don't you? That's clear and clean mark.
That is very, very good contested mark, and if he didn't mark it, he probably had a right to ask for a free kick too for over the shoulder.
Huge kick here for Collingwood. Cloak from 30 metres out does not let the Pies down. Back within 11 points.
That is just what that man needed. A contested mark, a accurate shot for goal. And let's hope that just changes. It looks as though he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders at the moment.
Yep.
Travis Cloak, and sometimes you just need one to go your way, and all of a sudden you're back, your body language is back, and the footy starts falling your way a little bit more. Well done, good effort.
Well, this game's going to go to the line, tonight, BT, and he's not having a great night. We've just been talking about him, Travis Cloak, but we know how good he is at taking contested marks, and in games like this where it's tight, he may take a contested mark late in this game and win it for them. He's just got to keep getting involved in marking contests.
14 goals at ANZ for Travis Cloak, most by a non-Swan at ANZ Stadium, so he's done pretty well there. They do play on this ground, of course, every year. Shaw, Mark, so 11-point lead now. It is interesting, 2 goal to 4 quarter in favour of the Swans, yet only an 11-point margin. Swan takes them on, gives it back to the left-footed Melcheski. Goes long and deep, and Pike was able to get a fist on it, knock it at the boundary. Plenty of work being done down there tonight. Maxwell a little sore in the hip as well. Some very direct massage going on that point there.
Yeah, he looked a bit sore, Maxie.
Saw him out there before. He looked a little hobbly, and he doesn't come off the ground a lot. Richo is part of the normal rotation, so it is unusual to see him there. High ball, in it comes. Goods is there. Bird again, wearing that famous number 14, of course. Skilton and Kelly. Big number in the Swans' history. Elliott. Didak, little flick around the corner. Picked up by Grundy. Belts the ball back in defence. Pike was there, couldn't get it. Goods, the little tap to Bird. Confronted by side bottom. Kick out to Roberts-Thompson. Oh boy, he tried to turn Reid around. Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Who would have ever thought that would be possible as we go down to Dr. Peter Larkins?
Yeah, just some maintenance work. Nick Maxwell getting some pressure point work just over the front of the left hip flexor there. He'll be right. And also Pendle's a bit tight in the back getting some work. They're both okay, Brian.
Dawes. Now Didak. Didak's a very good user. Tarrant should come at him. He didn't. He went long. Cloak's got the body position. They get back and outnumber, and it was really well done by both Shaw and Grundy there.
That entry and coast-to-coast effort, all on the back of Still Sidebottom, who Scott Pendlebury rated the other week as the best gut runner he has ever seen. And
oh, really?
You just got to keep your eye on him. He just glides across the turf. And when others get tired, he just still finds a way to keep finding space.
Sinclair went and got it, gave it to Fasolo. Fasolo around the corner, very capable of these. He's got it. Pies within a goal.
Oh, great goal, Alex Fasolo. Out of nothing.
So Fasolo kicks the goal. And 4.5 minutes remaining in the term. Collingwood now down by just a goal after moments ago Sydney led by 17.
Well, the Swans defenders just got sucked into that contest there, and Fasolo read it well and stayed out. Gave him the time needed to finish.
Heaps riding on this as far as top 4 opportunities go, and even top 2 opportunities. Seedsman doing well to work it down the ground. Gee, that's magnificent play. That was a 100-metre play there. He worked it 30, 40 along the ground, kicked it another 30 or 40. Probably doesn't add up to 100, and you're probably going to pick me up there, Das, but there was a bit of a run in between.
About 30 short, I think.
The run was 30.
We know where you're trying to go.
The old Dougie Hawkins. He's a 100-metre player. He kicks at 70 and runs at 20.
Hey, Dane Swan's on the tweet tonight. I believe he's here somewhere in the stadium, and he's just sent through to us. It's a pleasure to sit and watch my mate Alan Didak again. The great man is back. Wouldn't mind being out there too, and I have a feeling the Collingwood fans wouldn't mind you being out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely for Swan, and Didak has shown some glimpses here tonight. And
well, he's had 12 touches.
Yeah.
He's done well. It's been a good comeback.
Here's Kennedy. O'Keefe through centre half back. Really good at this play. It boils down to a one-on-one. Guess who? Mike Pike. Oh, boy. Off the ground, Dennis Lane. Harry O'Brien ran over the top of it as well. In they come, almost a free to Sydney's Mumford there, not paid. McLean drives Clark forward.
Tackled neither of those in the back.
Just no time out there at all. The ball is hot. Whenever you get it, you're going to be tackled straight away. There he is, Didak. Ned Kelly playing on him tonight. Look at that. That's a great bid.
Alan Didak. Tuvey, who got a bit of a knock early as well. Now Malcheski being pretty impressive again here tonight. He's a vitally important player to Sydney off that half-back line. Nick Malcheski. I know 4 or 5 years ago when Sydney were ultra competitive back there, winning premierships and playing finals, that he was the most feared player at Collingwood, was Malcheski, the one they put the most work into. Former teammates having a chat there.
Yep. Obviously had those issues with knee reconstruction and the Lars surgery, Malcheski, but I feel as though he's got himself back in a really top-class form.
Looked like he was almost gone at one stage last year, I reckon.
Yeah, agree with that.
So, important 3 minutes here, late in the third quarter. Just a goal in it. It's been pretty well that way all night. In the odd little skirmish where teams have got out by 2 to 3 goals. Pendlebury. Did he and could he get rid of it? The umpire said no, it's pinned.
Got himself right back into the game in this quarter, Pendlebury, Richo, but it's just getting caught a little more than he normally does. He's up to 19 disposals. They really have put some work into this man.
Good tap on there by Pendlebury to Beams, and I think he kicked that ball when he was already out of bounds, and I think that's an incorrect decision. I reckon he was already out of bounds.
It looked like he was, didn't it?
The umpire, the field umpire asked the umpire, was he already out? Now, I'm sure he was already out of bounds when he made contact with that by the boot. A couple of baffling decisions here tonight. Goods in front, couldn't hold the mark. Crunching tackle. Parker were able to escape with the ball. Maxwell. Sinclair there in support. Maxwell just kicks it long. Down to 2 minutes in the quarter. Well done, Grundy. Knock of the arms by Cloak.
Grundy out, push out 5 player.
Grundy out the back door. to the run here of Reece Shaw. Wide, looking for and not finding Johnson. So Collingwood lock it in at their half of the ground. Have a look at that.
Kieran Jack there walking past Dane Beams, and a little boot to the hand, and
it was a metre out of play when he kicked that.
Yeah, it looked to be wrong, didn't it?
Might have been an accidental stomp on the hand as well. I think I'll give Kieran Jack the benefit of the doubt there.
Beams from the penalty handball. Coll smothered Jack, who's up to 20 possessions in this game already. One of the leading possession getters on the ground.
Just saw the Swans there. They get it into when Grundy got that free kick or took the mark and gave it to Heath Shaw. He tried to switch it out the other side. Both teams have been so good at blocking up the exits on the other side of the ground, and that's why there's just no free-flowing play tonight. It's just a real hard slog. It's an intriguing battle, though.
5 tackles for Jack as well. Jolly and Pike for Solo through the real heavy traffic. It does that so well. Gee, he straightened the kick up nicely as well and offhand. So Collingwood with 1:16 remaining in the third quarter.
Just one thing that's happening at the moment is Collingwood are getting an extra player at the clearances, and Matner's dropping off to be the loose player, and they're plus 13 in the clearances, so they're really conceding a lot of these to Collingwood, the Swans, and freeing up Matner.
Off hands, Pendlebury, little left foot, found a gap and missed. So 5-point margin, in fact out of bounds on the full, so it'll remain at 6 points.
In a game as tight as this, expecting the last quarter, the real class quality players to be the difference in the end. Blokes like Pendlebury and Beams and then Lewis Jetta for Sydney, they're the ones who can break the game open with a bit of class, a bit of polish and a bit of speed, change the game.
Sinclair to Beams, 35 out, Beams set it sail, I think he's got it. Scores a level with under a minute remaining in the third quarter.
He's a jet, Dane Beams. He's turned himself into one of the elite midfielders in the game. Second goal, 28 disposals. He runs hard forward of the play, and this is no accident. He's a brilliant finisher. Look at that, set himself to kick it, and a massive goal just before three-quarter time.
And Lingy's got a little bit of wobble about him down there. He just mentioned Beams to crack it open, and right on cue, Lingy.
Thank you very much, Dane Beams. I appreciate your help there.
Great finish.
So all tied up. By the way, just off the top of my head, Das, I don't think any game this year has been level at three-quarter time, and this one is currently looking like it might be. Jeez. Just off the top of my head. Kick goes forward. Opportunity here for Johnson of Sydney to kick it out wide, and that's out of bounds on the full, so 35 seconds remain in the half here. Unbelievably, Sydney led by 17 points 13 minutes ago. 20-minute mark of this quarter, and now scores are level off hands of O'Keefe, and 55 metres around from the Collingwood goal is Buckley and Hart, one of the assistant coaches, former Adelaide star Robert Harvey, another footballing superstar.
Well, Collingwood have won the clearances by 10 this quarter, and that's just too much. They've got to tidy that up at three-quarter time, the Swans. If that happens in the last quarter, Collingwood will win the game.
Matner back inside, going to ground. Reid, Goods over the top. Here's the wee man McGlynn, the little man. 100 games for him. Now the big man, Roberts Thompson, already got a couple. And guess what? Scores aren't going to be level at three-quarter time.
He's actually got a few tricks now, Lewis Roberts Thompson. I don't know where they've emerged scrap that favours the Swans.
Well, Collingwood have won their last 9 games on the road. Will it come to an end in this one here? Can Sydney get hold of them in this last quarter? Official crowd here today, 45,827. Biggest Sydney crowd that the Sydney Swans have pulled this year, so it's a good result for them, keeping in mind that SCG is under construction at the moment.
So once again, watching this arm wrestle here where all the exits are closed. Defensive pressure's good, got to go down the line.
Mumford looking just a little uncoordinated there. Allows Reid to run on the ball, and the mark is taken by Blair.
What did you find this moment there, Big Mummy? And he often cringes a ruckman occasionally when that happens. but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He actually thought the mark had been paid. He was going back to take his kick. Ben Reid all over it. Big turnover this to start the last quarter.
Absolutely it is. Blair, well within range, has gone back. Is having a real good look at this one. Swirly conditions out there at the moment. You can see the kick that he's got to conquer. In he comes. Looks pretty good. I think it's there. Collingwood in front early in the last quarter.
Crucial contest.
So Blair enjoying that goal, and Collingwood all of a sudden hit the front by 5 points. By the way, Sydney have won 9 games in a row, the first time they've done that since the 1930s. And they are heading for the minor premiership of the home and away season, of course, and been a while since they have achieved that feat. Looking for win number 16 here tonight. Their most in a season is 16 and a half back in 1996 when they were runners up to North Melbourne. So 16th win on offer for Sydney here tonight. An outstanding year for them with some games in hand. Big Mike Pike has given Maxi a bit of a corky as well to go on with. Kick out the back door. Sydney respond. Cross goal. Goods. Opportunity. Grabs. Can he get around one? Little kick back inside. Just got upended as he went to kick that ball, then put him off balance. Tuvey now. Down the line to Dawes and Richards. Richards did well to bring to ground. The recovery from Dawes, but the handball I thought was never on. Now Johnson's got to outsmart Tarrant. Happy with the line. There's Tony Armstrong, the sub for the Sydney Swans. That's warming up. He was brought into the side tonight when Andreas Everett was a late withdrawal, but that looks like it's been activated down there, Lingy.
Yes, it has, and give me 2 seconds, please, BT, because I'm trying to work out who the man is who's been. Hey, it's Dennis Lane.
Yeah, Dennis Lane out, substituted. Good stuff. Lee Armstrong is going to come on, and it's just got the makings of something special here tonight. When you look at the Collingwood story, they get rid of Dane Swan for 2 weeks for an internal disciplinary action. It's a big call for a club to make. Then they lose Dale Thomas, who's probably one of their best 3 players in the second quarter, early substituted out. You're away, you're interstate, you're playing against the top of the ladder side. If you find a way to win tonight, it has got massive, massive positive energy for the Pies with a few games to go in the year.
Well, the Pies have kicked the last 4 goals of this game's after Sydney led by 17 points in the third quarter.
Let alone what it means on the ladder for Collingwood as well.
Well, is it a matter of whoever wins it is premiership favourites in this game, do you think, Das, or it's not that simple?
Throw Hawthorn into the mix as well, BT, but top 4 just about guaranteed. You can lock that away if Sydney win it. Collingwood, they don't want to go back down into the pack with a few big games to go. They've got a tough run home.
I reckon the winner here deserves to be premiership favourite because they'll have won more games against teams currently sitting in the 8. They're 5-all at the moment. Collingwood or the Swans win tonight, they go alone on 6, and they're beating the big teams, so that means you're the best team.
They can put a gap between them and third, can't they? Sydney, by winning here tonight, which will...
And BT, the huge part about it is if it's Sydney and Adelaide who finish 1 and 2, obviously they get home finals. Collingwood, if they can get up into that 1 or 2 spot, they get the home finals in Melbourne. Makes a huge difference. First round of finals plus preliminary final week.
Absolutely it does. The Wellingham tackle a little high on Kennedy early there, not paid. McVeigh trying to back out with the ball, and you just get the feeling that it's going to get hotter and hotter the closer this game gets to the finish line.
Attention, the coach's box. Let's look at the live ladder here, and that is including Collingwood winning because they're in front, obviously, at the moment. They go up into third position. They put a gap between the Hawks, and they get back into the opportunity to go past Sydney and the Adelaide Crows.
Kennedy out of the pack. Had a shot and missed. Very, very close as it took a bit of the timber work.
20 contested possessions, 8 clearances, disposal number 31 for Josh Kennedy.
No loose players either. No, it's 1-on-1 all over the ground at the moment.
Pendlebury just tricked the Swans players into believing he was going up the middle when he was always going to Harry O'Brien. Now this kick needs to be good for Solo. Strong overhead, good jukes. Out in front, that's how you do it.
He has got great hands for a medium to small marking player. He is
the Fizz.
The Fizz,
or
as
the
you call
Faz.
him.
Whichever one you want, depending on whether they win or lose, I guess, and whether he plays good or not.
Crucial mark in that position there of the ground. If he had to drop that, we're in a lot of trouble, the Pies.
Seedsman Dawes getting sticky fingers at the right time as Chris Dawes.
Got to go now to Cloak. He's one out.
He does that, takes your advice, but getting back there was Mattner to compete in the air. Sinclair gave it around the side to Elliott. Taken over the line by Jeddah.
I'm watching my mate Richo here just about jump out of his chair because he could see that unfolding 30 seconds before. It was just a bit slow from Dawes. It was when you want that fanatical play on, and it just that half a second got Mattner the opportunity to get back, and that's enough to make it impossible for Cloak to take the mark.
Kick back around the corner. Here is Heath Shaw. O'Keefe got in the way. Been another good game from him. Maxwell and Roberts Thompson hold each other. Clark got bowled over. Fierce tackle by Parker. Really impressive tackle. And he had a second bite at Clark. Nicely done by Luke Parker.
That's why it's important when you get marks 60, 70, 80 metres out that you can get someone coming past for a handball receive because it gets the ball in there a lot quicker. You don't have to wait to go back behind your mark and kick the footy. Not always possible, especially in a tight game like this, but that's the desired result.
Sydney looking for their 10th consecutive win, trail by 4 points at the moment.
Back 2 metres.
Early stages of the second quarter. Heath Shaw goes down the line looking for Cloak. Plenty of defenders there. Sinclair again, but caught in the tackle. Elliott to Didak, nailed from behind by Armstrong. Did he tape him forward? The umpire said no. Cloak got one in the back from his own man there. And now Armstrong with the clearing kick under pressure kicks it straight to Reid. Reid wide to Heath Shaw. Heath Shaw invited to play on by Wellingham, who was looking for the shepherd on the mark. Ignores that. That kick's not good. Beat Cloak. Now Blair's got to go at it. Armstrong did well. Peeling handball. Out of the loop, Sydney. Kennedy. Didak from behind. 2 on 1. Here's O'Brien. Gathers and runs. Down the line. Nice grab by Bird.
It's just a time Sydney's forward structure has fallen apart a bit, particularly through centre forward, where Reid, in particular, here he goes again. He's just been able to get himself, Richo, in the right spots. They're not kicking the ball well enough to get through that part of the ground again.
They've got to get it one-on-one down there. The last 3 times they've gone forward, Reid's marked it twice, and O'Brien's mopped up a loose ball. They've got to get one-on-ones down there.
Goalless for 24 minutes here, Sydney.
And Richard, they were able to do that earlier on in the game by lowering their eyes, hitting up that short option and quickly playing on from there. It drew the Collingwood defenders out and then get it over the line and kick into a one-on-one contest. At the moment, they're just blazing it away in long, and Reid and Maxwell and that are reading the footy.
The reigning premiership captain, Cameron Ling there. Jack was tackled perfectly by Beams. Clark almost threw it to Pendlebury. Pendlebury in a bit of space. Here goes Grundy. Had to meet the ball. No choice for Solo. Just bounces off his teammate. Kick around the corner. Goes deep over the head of Tarrant. Richards first to recover. He's pursued by Tarrant in the pocket, and he did the right thing, and he disguised that magnificently. Teddy Richards.
Darren Glass got paid one of those last night. Exactly the same sort of thing against Darren Glass.
You're saying that should have been paid, Richard?
No, I don't. But there was one paid like that to Darren Glass last night.
Just wondered for a minute what you were saying there as Dawes' kick was smothered. Over the line, so Collingwood at their end of the ground now. 13 minutes, lots and lots of time, no problem there. Collingwood by 4 points. Crowd tonight just a tick over 45,000. Dawes going through. I'm not sure he disposed of that correctly. Clark to Beams. Upended as he kicked it. Looking for Sinclair deep and punch away. Now this will be interesting. Umpire says throw it in. The defensive punch, Richo.
I'll tell you what, there's been a little change of interpretation today.
Overnight, you reckon?
I saw one of those paid as well.
I'm glad they have, because you've got to be able to defend as a defender.
Oh, certainly. I'm not.
Yeah, I understand.
Not saying that.
You're saying, but they mucked it up Friday night. I'm glad they've got it right here tonight, because it's a great game. We don't want to ruin by
Parker under pressure to Melcheski. Mumford under the ball there. Here's Brown. Got Maxwell supporting him with a shepherd, but they went the other way. He zigged when he should have zagged. And they ended up getting tangled up. Sydney a real opportunity here. Still free is McGlynn.
He's got to get it moving.
Roberts Thompson goes that direction. Here's McGlynn. Punched away from him by side bottom.
Once again, Richard, I've been all over it. Just the still side bottom. Again, they were out everywhere, and his ability to run both ways hard makes him such a valuable player. He got back and defended that one.
Plenty of Collingwood fans up here. Lots of Sydney fans. McGlynn again. Was he tackled too high? Handball out. Parker bounces off. Kennedy gives it to the Malcheski left footer. Went back on the right. Didn't get it done. Now Blair. His kick was smothered. The Swans really tightening the screws here. Parker with a high ball. Goods is under it. Couldn't hold the mark. Soccer. And a free will go Collingwood's way, I think.
Pay kicking in danger against Adam Goods, yeah.
Unusual one to pay.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be that violent, but umpire right on the spot.
Very unusual decision to pay. Beams. Down very close to the line. Off hands Kennedy to Armstrong. Inside 50. Banana bending. 3-point lead for Collingwood.
The sub Armstrong, he's been able to get involved, came on early in the quarter. He's been able to get 3 touches. Got to get involved as the sub. Should have more run than any other player on the ground.
Well, he is impressive at that skill, running and delivering. So we'll watch with interest what he can give. Collingwood sub Didact came on in the second quarter, of course, when Thomas was taken off injured. A corky for him.
There's Travis Cloak, who's having a spell on the interchange at the moment. He's just had 5 possessions again tonight. Kicked a couple of goals, but Heath Grundy has absolutely had the better of that contest.
All right. Thank you. Leave it there. Leave it there.
That's the Sydney forward setup.
See, you can see Harry O'Brien running back towards the goal square. He'll be loose.
Off hands, McGlynn. O'Keefe got the clearing kick, kicked it wide. Here's Reid, but he's on his wrong side. And there it is, the right foot helicopter with a bit of gyro in it. Wasn't great, was it?
Yep. Wait for the call. Wait for the call.
Eventually, you will be forced to kick with your non-preferred foot at some stage. Amazing how many people escape having to do it. Kick is good from Jack to McGlynn now.
Who's not without a chance here, BT. He's a powerful kick. He has a look inside, but I don't know if he sets himself.
That's what Lingy wanted. They lowered their eyes then to Benny McGlynn.
Game 100 for McGlynn. From outside 50, searching for the journey, yanked it left as they all do. When just a bit short on it.
Just get a feeling here. It's locked in, but Collingwood can get one of those long kick-ins and get it out the back.
Haven't kicked a goal since the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, Sydney. And in between, Collingwood have kicked 4. Heath Shaw goes very wide. Looking for Elliott. Cloak over the back, waited. Elliott spinning out of the Goods bump. Cloak caught with the ball, eventually got rid of it. Maxwell trying to take it towards the boundary. Successful in the end.
I've seen a lot of teams going for those long kicks down the middle this year to try and get over the back of the press and the zone. Collingwood generally don't do it. Still the #1 boundary line team in the competition, and that's what they do most times.
In fact, since the start of the year, they've gone back to that way a little more, haven't they?
Yeah.
Kick into the middle of the ground. Dawes a reaching mark. Now he's got Tarrant one out. You wanted him to move it quickly, Richo. He goes there, but once again he was too slow. Grundy able to get off his man and help. Malcheski to Grundy. Kick is very good to Mumford. Inside handball. The runner's on for Kennedy. A hammering ball in the Roberts Thompson direction. Reid and O'Brien tangle. Roberts Thompson keeps his feet near the boundary line. Reid wanted to go out, couldn't quite get it.
Got to do something about Reid, BT. He's absolutely just getting involved in everything. He's had 20 possessions, but he's setting up so well. Roberts Thompson's trying to create a 2-on-1. He's just so smart at reading it. Adam Goods goes back, and they've got to get a better contest on Ben Reid.
Well, Matner's back loose, and so is O'Brien. It's going to be really, really tough to score.
Off hands, Kennedy, so efficient at the clearances into the Roberts-Thompson direction. O'Brien with a little kick off. Now Dawes has got the break on his man here, but here comes Richards now. Pushes Dawes out of the way. Turning circle wasn't great for Dawes, it was for Richards. On to Kennedy. Why did he go back there? He must have heard someone seedsman mark. I thought the shot at goal may have been the go.
Well, since quarter time, there's only been 3 marks inside 50 for each team. It's near on impossible to mark in there tonight.
Didak plays on. Beams under some pressure. Now on his favoured left. Look at this. 3-on-1. Smith wins out for Sydney. Going to boil down to a mistake, this one. Here's Armstrong, the sub. Boy out of Assumption College.
And they're having to go laterally here because they look up and there are a heap of numbers across half-back. Collingwood defence have organised themselves beautifully.
Good kick to Goods. Presented strongly.
The big mummy's drifted forward. Jolly's gone with him.
Gio Keefe supplied a good lead, or Jack it was, that was ignored.
Shocking kick.
Absolute shocker. Down the throat of Pendlebury. He can do very little, though. Goes to Dawes, doesn't let him down. Now side bottom's broken loose here. It's a spearing kick over the top. Goods has got the chase. Oh, he did really well. He just bowled over side bottom. Magnificent stuff from Adam Goods. Really good. Armstrong caught. They'll play advantage. Didak, little pass. Cloak on the lead is marked. Brilliant tackle.
Oh, a couple of massive plays there. You called it brilliantly. Goods' effort first off was magnificent. And then the Collingwood chaser who came from behind. His name escapes me now. Here it is. It was Tuvi. Brilliant effort. Look at that on Armstrong. Sensational, desperate tackle. Sets up this for Travis Cloak, who could be the hero, having only had 5 possessions.
For an 8-point Collingwood lead. Well within his range. He has been kicking well in recent weeks. Kick on the way is a little to his left. And a miss there as Chris comes from the ground under escort of the runner. Probably didn't want to come off, Goodsy.
Chris Dawes has been really good in this last quarter. He's taken 3 marks through that middle zone of the ground.
Blistering run from Reece Shaw. Kick wasn't good. Marked by Blair.
As Longmire having a pretty stern chat there with Adam Goods and some instructions on what he wants the champ to do.
Well, he was dragged. The runner went out and said, come on, come with me. I got someone on the phone for you. Here's Shaw of the Sydney variety. McVeigh now ran back into trouble. Sinclair's got him. Did he handball it or kick it? The umpire said play on. Pendlebury squirts it out the back door. Little kick, I think it was from Elliott. He's missed. Minor score.
Gee, that forward pressure's good at the moment. Jared McVeigh, he was in a world of hurt there. I don't know how he got a hand to that.
That's when they look at their best, Collingwood, when they are fanatical at keeping the footy in their own forward half of the ground. Reece Shaw takes another run here. It's been the way he's wanted to play it from full-back to Mike Pike.
35 minutes since Sydney's last goal. Bird kicked that. 3rd quarter. Collingwood wind up and go in the Fasolo direction again. Wanted to mark it on the chest. Gave Shaw an opportunity to punch it away. Marty Clark punched it inside 50. Teddy Richards. Jolly will come at him. Boundary line's a win for Ted and Jolly.
Oh, well done, Jolly. I thought Teddy Richards would have had a bit more mobility there to mop up, but he created a great contest, Jaron Jolly.
Big boundary throw in here. We tick into red time. 20-minute mark of the final quarter. Just under 6 remaining. Dawes to mark. I get the feeling a goal for either side here is on the ratio of scoring is going to get the job done.
Yeah, that's the impossible kick tonight. Inside 50 to find a marking forward. It's
a great shot there, Richo, as well, of just how hard it is to exit at the moment. Collingwood are really pressing hard. Oh, that was a dangerous ball.
Oh, McVeigh's out by a mile here.
He is. He's got 30 metres. Harry O'Brien's going to have to go. Had to go back and get at McVeigh. O'Keefe was there, he turned around. Now Jenner's the man. He's got wheels like no other. Does he take Tuvey on? He says, no, I can kick it. I don't need to run.
It's a good matchup because Tuvey is lightning too. Don't underestimate the speed. But he couldn't go with Jetta. It did well enough just to hold him back. Had to kick at 55.
When he marked that, he thought of nothing else but going back and having the shot at goal. He's confident.
Lewis Jetta for a 2-point Swan lead. Will have to blast it from 50 metres out. No problems with the journey, but just the accuracy. Collingwood by 3 points.
39 goals coming into tonight, Lewis Jetta. You remember that it was 17 behinds he kicked before his first goal in AFL football. And there's a chance for someone to make a name for themselves. 4.5 remaining. There might be one more goal left in it. That will be the winner.
I reckon there's one. I agree with you, Dars. I reckon there's a goal left in the game for either side. And that'll just about get it done. Stodgy defence from both mobs here tonight. Reece Shaw couldn't hold the mark. Out the back was Didak. Seedsman got to go. McGlynn went just that little bit harder. Blair's in there. So is Melcheski. Tough footy. Ball up. 55 out from Sydney's goal. 4.25 remaining.
Just looking inside 50 for the Swans. Then Mike Pike's the deepest target.
Jolly and Mumford tangle, no free. McVeigh soccer. Roberts Thompson, the umpire, said not the required journey. Here's Kennedy, the dangerous Kennedy, got the handball back into Roberts Thompson. Goods is lurking dangerously. That's a throw. That's a throw by Collingwood, I reckon, and it's an Adam Goods free. O'Keefe wants it, and he questions the umpire. Goods wants it, and he takes off.
Hey, I love that. Both players want the footy desperately, and that's what your big guns do. And O'Keefe remonstrated, said, hey, don't give it to Goodsy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't reckon Goods, it was not what Goods' kick, it was, looks like Roberts Thompson's ball.
Either way, it was a definite throw.
Yep, absolutely. But Adam Goods quickly claims the kick. From 48 metres out, he has also tugged it way left, out of bounds on the full. Oh boy,
Gee.
Adam Goods.
He had that shot last year, remember, against the Bombers that Eddie had.
And missed after the siren. And when you put your hand up for one, you take responsibility and even score.
Gee. Off hands, Cloak. Immediately got rid of it to Didak. Volleyball. Been watching the gymnastics. Over the top. Off hands, Richards. Shaw. Backside, comes to boundary. Sold a little bit of hand stuff, and now O'Keefe, he's good with the ball. He's found space in the middle. This is good. Mumford's got it. It builds now. Collingwood by 3 points. Melcheski, Pike, couldn't mark. Off hands, Brown, missed it. Took it through for a rush behind. Collingwood by 2 points. 2 minutes 41 remaining.
He's sure signalling there, hey, I'm not going anywhere near the middle of the ground. I want to go wide. I want to take some time off. And that's what he does to himself, and long and wide.
Swans have the last 7 scores. They're all behind Stars. And I get the feeling whichever team can now move it to their forward end can almost handle the ball from here with the way the game's played tonight. Free kick will go the way of Tarrant.
Crowd don't like it, but that's smart play from Heath-Shaw, and a really good kick there from Wellingham. He put it in a dangerous position. Tarrant's been quiet, but they really want to hang on to it and take some time here.
Collingwood runner just went around the back of Tarrant, and they would be aware of the time clock now. Here's the 2 big boys, Dawes.
Hasn't he stood up in this last quarter and a bit? Chris Dawes really starting to get the big clunks going again.
Collingwood here. Go inside 50. Cloak's there, gets a run at it off hands over the back, picked up by Kennedy. He doesn't risk going the fat side, he brings it back to the traffic. Off hands, Jack, got it into Roberts Thompson, out the back door. Parted 1 minute 26 on the clock.
That's why you pay the big boys the big bucks, because in a finals-like game, he hasn't had a big night, but he's taken a contested.
Need a goal very, very quickly, obvious thing to say with 1 minute 14 left. Do it now. This stoppage is their chance. They're in their forward half of the ground. They can stop the clock with the go ahead, Lingy.
Yeah, thanks, BT. Well, what a win. It was a hard-fought game all along, but you guys stuck it out. Must feel really good.
Yeah, we've been in some close games this year, mate, and thankfully enough we've been able to win them, so that's it. Full credit to this playing group, mate. We sort of been written off a little bit this last week, and I suppose we stuck it up a few people.
Well, on that, it's got to be a really positive thing for the group. You made the stance, you suspended Dane Swan from the group for 2 weeks. The group stuck together well and had a fantastic win against the top side.
Yeah, as I said, it's been a big week publicity-wise for the club, and Swanee realises he made the wrong choice, and we can't wait to get him back into the side. And tonight was just a great win, and it's really hard fought. And we always come up and play Sydney, and they always give us a hard, tough game, and that's what we wanted. So we put ourselves against the best, and we're able to come out with 4 points.
Well done tonight, mate. Great work.